Hello, Nick. How are you today?
I'm all right, thank you, Chris. I'm very well.
Marvellous.
Got a bit of a cold, so apologies if I sound a bit nasally.
Oh, well, that's not good. But hopefully a game you've been playing has cheered you up a little bit.
Yes.
I mean, it looks very nice and colourful and friendly and stuff.
It is.
And that is Snake Pass. So, Nick, I mean, you're reviewing it. How is it?
Well, like you say, it's very colourful, very bright. It's got a very rare. If you'd have told me Rare had developed it, I wouldn't have been surprised.
Yeah, it does look very rare.
You're basically, it's Snake Pass, obviously, and you are a snake, a wiggly snake called Noodle, who is very. They've managed to animate him really well, so he's really charismatic. And you've got a little pal called Doodle, who is a hummingbird. And there's something has chased all the animals away in Haven Tor, a sort of jungly type paradise that you live in.
Yeah.
And it's your job to locate keystones to open gates in the various worlds. And I like it a lot. It's a puzzle platformer with a bit of a difference because you, as I say, you are a snake. So you're leaping and climbing and what have you. Your navigation around the environment is very much based around the movement of a snake and the way that a snake would climb, for example, by twining its body around an object and using that force of holding the object to then use the rest of its body to reach up and grab another area. Like I say, I really like it, but it's quite difficult. The movement is physics based. Your snake has weight to it, and of course if you kind of mistime a kind of move, or you release your grip too soon and you've not got an adequate purchase of the next sort of level up, you're often sort of slither back down to the bottom. So it can be quite a frustrating game at times. Your movement is sort of I'm playing it on Xbox, so you hold the right trigger and that increases your speed. But to get momentum, you have to kind of fan the left stick to left and right to kind of mimic that sort of slither that a snake does. And then you use the A button to lift your head. And it is kind of tricky to get a handle on, to be fair. And the camera kind of moves around. You can control the camera with the right stick, but the camera kind of moves around a little bit. And and particularly as you get further into the game, the puzzles become a lot more challenging with, drops below you or spikes or what have you.
Right,
so
okay.
It becomes quite stressful trying to traverse the environment and make sure that you've got adequate grip before you kind of let go and reach for something else. So it's quite a challenge. But what I've played so far, I really, really like.
Is there any benefits to collecting the coins? Because I played a brief bit at a recent event, and you've got obviously you say the keystones.
Yes.
And then you've got the blue kind of glowing orb things.
Yes, little wisps.
Yeah, and then coins. Are they just collectibles?
They're just collectibles. I think they're just additional challenges in the maps. Basically, the only must do items that you have to collect are the 3 keystones that you have to place at the gate, and that then opens up the next level. Each level does have, as you say, some coins. I think roughly about 5 coins per level, and roughly about 20 little blue wisps. Some are easy to see, some are hidden in little harder to reach areas or little secret sort of narrow passages which are hidden by the undergrowth and what have you. So it kind of encourages you to explore the level a bit more, but in terms of progression you really only need to find the 3 keystones to move on. I think they're really just for the replayability, for completionists, and for extra challenge in each levels. I will say, once you complete the first world, there's four worlds, all based around sort of the elements. There's earth, water, wind, and fire, and of course, each of those has its relative, obstacles and difficulties. Once you've unlocked there's 5 levels in each world. Once you've done the first world, you then unlock time trial mode, so you can go back and play previous levels and see if you can beat sort of high scores. There's leaderboards and that kind of thing that you can kind of test your speed and your skill out with other players. There's a fair bit of replayability.
On the surface, it sounds like it's just levels to go through, but there's a lot of physics involved, and it's so tricky to get used to it, because obviously you have to constantly build momentum by going left and right, and then by pressing the A button you lift your head up and you try and lock onto something. There's another trigger you can press which helps you grip, doesn't it? I think.
Yeah, that's the left trigger.
So it's all about kind of working out ways to get from one kind of platform to the next without falling. So there's a lot of skill involved, and there is definitely replayability in trying to get through the levels a lot faster, especially when you've gone through it and you've not been amazing, and you learn as you go along. So then you probably
there's lots of bits. I have gone back to some other levels because I'm kind of like, I feel a little bit more able to traverse the environment a bit better now. So I've gone back into other levels and gone for some of the more precarious coins just to see if I could do it. You've got a few options if you do get into trouble, like your little pal, your little hummingbird pal, Doodle. He can lift your tail for you, which has got me out of a few scrapes, where I can kind of feel the back end of my snake slipping back down, and I'm desperately, trying to move forward. You can kind of press on the Xbox, you can press the Y button, and Doodle will lift your tail, and it'll just give you enough, just to keep so that you don't slip off the edge. So that's quite a cool little mechanic. I think.
Have you got an unlimited amount of times you can use that as well? You just
yeah, you can toggle that on and off as much as you like. There's some sort of old school mechanics in it as well, in that checkpoints are within the map, and you kind of activate those by slithering over them.
Right, okay.
And once you slither over them, that's your game saved. And in later levels, unfortunately, if you go over the checkpoint and then you move on, and if you die, you'll come back to that checkpoint, but unfortunately any progress that you've made up until that point is lost. Now, I don't necessarily see a problem with that, but as the levels get more and more difficult, it becomes a little bit of a pain to kind of retrace and go and get those collectibles again. And kind of risk getting them again. Do you know what I mean? Because you lose all of the progress that you've done so far. So that can be a little bit frustrating. Sometimes the camera is a bit wild as well, especially in the sort of secret areas where the camera moves in very close to you, and you're kind of fighting with that a little bit to kind of see which direction you go in. I've got turned around a couple of times with that, where I've the camera's moved about too much and I've lost sort of my orientation of where I am in the map. But that's few and far between. Like I say, it's a fun title. I'm not convinced it's entirely successful in what it's doing, because the snake Doodle, as adorable as he is, Noodle, sorry, as adorable as he is, and he really is, they've animated him so lovely, he's got such expression in his face. He's difficult to control, and it is frustrating, trying to gauge where you are in a 3D environment. Am I at that point? Why am I not moving up this particular piece of bamboo? And you sort of swing the camera around, you're actually nowhere near it. So it's quite sometimes the motion and the physics of the snake are kind of working against you a little bit, and that adds to the difficulty and the frustration levels I've found so far.
Okay, but I mean, on the whole, it's a nice little game. You know, you waste a good few hours on it. It's just, it kind of harks back to that golden age of like the 3D platformer. Obviously, it's more physics based, but the feel of it, the aesthetic of it, is very much, you know, your Banjo-Kazooies and, you know.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And there's well, it's a bit more Marble Madness, to be honest.
Oh God, old school.
There are actually a few puzzles in there. You know, like some environmental stuff that you have to like activate triggers and things like that, which are kind of fun. There's one where I had to move a ball down through a kind of maze. A rough maze. Not really a maze. Not a maze at all. I'm making that up. But you have to kind of roll a ball down a pathway that sort of weaves and you know, weaves in and out. And that was kind of quite fun.
Yeah.
Trying to get a snake to move a ball. That was quite a challenge to do that. So yeah, there's a few nice little touches in it. It is a fun little game. It's a nice, unique take on the puzzle platformer.
Yeah, cool, awesome. Well, I mean, you can read Nick's review on GodIsAGeek.com. You can watch this video on YouTube.com/GodIsAGeek. And you can follow us on Twitter at GodIsAGeek as well. So, yeah, thank you very much, Nick. And take care, everybody. Bye-bye.